Okay, so for lesson 9-1, we have a new game. It's called Product Pileup. So what you're going to need, this is on page 252 in your student reference book, that hardcover. You're going to need number cards, 1 through 10, 4 of each. So if you grab out a deck of cards, do aces, and then 2 through 10, that's all you're going to need. You can even make your own cards if you don't have them. Just write 1 through 10, but might have 4 of each. Players, you're going to need 3. And let's see, we're practicing our multiplication facts 1 through 10. So let's see if we can play all of our cards. It says directions 1, take turns being the dealer. It's always nice to take turns. Shuffle and deal 8 cards to each player. So the dealer gives 8 cards to one person and 8 cards to the other person. Place the rest of the deck number side down. So the rest of the deck goes in the middle and you can't see any of the cards. All right, number 2 says the player to the left of the dealer begins. This player selects 2 cards from his or her hand and places them number side up on the table, multiplies the numbers, and says the product out loud, that answer. Okay, so you get to look at your hand. So I'm looking at all of mine, and let's say I have a 3 and a 6, so I put a 3 and a 6 down, and I go 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, that makes sense to me. Number 3, play continues with each player playing 2 cards with a product greater than the product of the last 2 cards played. If a player states an incorrect product, so if you multiply and don't get it right, the other player may suggest a helper fact or strategy to help find the correct product. Okay, so here's an example. Joe plays 3 and 6 and says 3 times 6 equals 18. So Joe looked at his hands, he saw 3 and a 6, just like I said before. He put them down and goes 3 times 6 equals 18. Do you see how he says all of the numbers and the products? He says the 2 factors times and then equals 18. Amazing. Now it's Rachel's turn. So Rachel needs factors and factors that'll have a product greater or bigger than 18, or whatever the person before you has laid down. Then Rachel looks at her hand to find 2 cards with a product greater than 18. She plays 5 and 4. So already you're thinking to yourself, you're like, is that a greater product? Well, 5 times 4, let's see. And says 5 times 4 equals 20. Amazing. Okay, so Rachel's product is 20. That's greater than 18. That works. Number 4, if a player is not able to play 2 cards with a greater product, the player draws 2 cards from the deck. So if Rachel didn't have anything bigger than an 18, she would grab a card from the middle. She would look at her hand. If the player is now able to make a greater product, those cards are played and the game continues. If the player still cannot make a greater product, the player keeps the card and says pass. The game continues to the next person. Okay, so if I pick up a card from that middle, when I can't go, and I look at it and I say, oh, now I can make a product that's greater than 18, then I lay it down. But if I still can't make a product greater than 18 or the answer from the person before me, I just go pass, and then it moves to the next person. So that would be the first person who laid if you're playing with 3 people, because the dealer is not playing right now. If all players must pass, the player who laid down the last 2 cards starts a new round, beginning with step 2 above. So then again, that person would choose 2 cards from their hand and put them down and create a new product if everyone is passed and can't make a greater product. The winner is the first person or the first player to run out of cards, or the player with the fewest cards when there are no more cards to draw. So you win when either all of your cards in your hand are put down, or if all the cards in the middle are gone and no one can play anymore. Okay, so I hope you enjoy playing this and practicing your facts. See ya!